I feel bad for Josh Giddey. For starters, did you notice how that dork, this pretend tough guy, this unbelievable nerd, this doofus who wears sunglasses inside an NBA arena, did you notice how he was real tough until he was actually approached by Josh Giddey? As soon as he was confronted, all of a sudden, he's trying to shake hands and ask for an autograph. Hey man, it's all good. I'm just sitting here relaxing all cool. Can you sign my face? Can you draw a nice big wiener by my mouth and sign it with love, Josh Giddey? This is another prime example of the genius of the great prophet, the great philosopher Mike Tyson. Years ago, Mike Tyson prophesied that social media had made Chief Geek way too comfortable disrespecting someone without the consequence of being punched in the mouth. As you just saw, as soon as Chief Geek was confronted, once he was no longer protected by his keyboard, his toxic mouth farts were immediately extinguished. The reason I feel bad for Josh Giddey, what happened to him could happen to any young man. This kid had his reputation ruined because an underage girl snuck into a nightclub and lied about her age. At the time, Josh Giddey was 19 years old. When you're a 19-year-old dude at a nightclub and you're really not experienced with what can happen in the world, when you're a 19-year-old kid in a nightclub, you're assuming that all the girls inside the club are of age. They had been carded at the door. As it turns out, this girl was, I think, 16 years old at the time, and ever since, Josh Giddey has been convicted in the court of public opinion as being a pedophile. I feel bad for him. His reputation was ruined. I'm sure he gets frustrated, especially on the road. I'm sure he gets tired of hearing dumbass dorks who hit themselves in the nuts every time they try to dribble a basketball. I'm sure Josh Giddey gets tired of hearing the constant accusations, the constant shit talking from NBA fans on the road. But you have got to develop a thicker skin. And I'm not just talking about Josh Giddey, I'm talking about the entire NBA. Once again, and I've been saying this for years, once again, the NBA is at war with its own fan base. We're 5-6 weeks into the regular season, and we already have multiple incidents of fans, also known as the paying customer. We have multiple incidents of NBA fans being thrown out of games by the players. Look, I am no defender of stupidity. I am no defender of the fake tough guy disrespecting NBA players because they know in that situation they're untouchable. They know they are protected while their ass is sitting in the stands. To me, this is no different than fake toughness that we see on social media. It's easy to disrespect someone when you know there won't be any consequences. It's easy to disrespect someone when you know you're not going to get punched in the mouth. If you're not willing to say something to someone's face when there is no protection, then you shouldn't be willing to say it while you're being protected by a dozen security guards. Unfortunately, fake tough guys don't see it that way. So I know it's got to be frustrating for NBA players. I know it's got to be frustrating to deal with this stupidity. But throwing fans out of the arena, that's not the way to deal with it. The only thing that does is add to the narrative that LeBron James and this generation of NBA players are soft. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. More than likely, today, tomorrow are going to be the final day for nominations for the 3rd annual Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards. I want to get the voting started later this week so I can have the awards video ready by Christmas. We have got some great nominees this year. You guys have done a great job. If you have someone you want to nominate, shoot me an email, BTL kc84@gmail.com. Friday night, my Mavs were in Los Angeles to play the Lakers. Game was broadcast nationally on Amazon Prime, which, by the way, I don't know if Amazon is using AI to come up with statistical graphics. I hope that's the case, because if they're paying someone to find these stats, they need to be fired. And if they're using AI, Amazon needs to quit being cheap and hire someone. They showed a graphic Friday night that claimed J.J. Redick had won 80% of his games as the Lakers head coach. Amazon also claimed that Anthony Davis had played in one game since he was traded back in February. The information Amazon is presenting ain't even close. But anyway, Lakers Mavs playing Friday night on Amazon Prime. It was a great game. Matter of fact, the NBA, I think, has been phenomenal so far this season. That's why you haven't heard Uncle KC complaining about it. I know this might be hard to believe, but NBA players, they're actually playing basketball. Not only are they showing up, they're also giving effort. They are playing high-level ball. The games have been compelling. They've been competitive. My only gripe right now with the NBA, besides the fact that players are once again kicking fans out of the arena, NBA games never start on time. When the NFL tells me that a game is starting at 12:05, when I turn on my TV at that specified time, the ball is being kicked off. When the NBA tells me a game is starting at 7, what that really means is games starting at 7:15, 7:20. This league never starts their games on time. At some point during the game Friday night, a lady sitting courtside who kind of looked like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Marge 2.0, was kicked out of the arena. I guess LeBron James thought she was being a meanie. Watch it for yourself.
2 shots.
Let's go, lady. No chunky highlights tonight.
Look, I don't know what happened. There's been a lot of conflicting information, but either way, the optics aren't good for the NBA. If this were a one-off, if this were the first time LeBron James had a fan kicked out of the arena, fine. But this has happened multiple times with the self-proclaimed king. And with Bron being the face of the league, other players have followed his lead. Russell Westbrook, Draymond Green, Josh Giddey. Hell, we've got role players now kicking fans out of the arena. You know, I was a kid in the 90s, so I could be misremembering, but I just never remember seeing Michael Jordan having fans kicked out of the arena. Reggie Miller was hated in New York City. I don't remember a single instance where Reggie Miller called the cops to escort someone out of Madison Square Garden. You know what those dudes did? They shut people up by winning. NBA players should not have the power to kick fans out of the arena. If someone is being annoying, if someone is being obnoxious, or even worse, dangerous, let security handle it, or let the people in that section handle it. If you have ever been to an NBA game before, you already know there is security everywhere. Every section, especially in the lower bowl, every section has multiple security guards. Let them handle it. Let them do their jobs. This damn league. The NBA is the best in the business at having no idea how to get the hell out of their own way. We're 5-6 weeks into the regular season. Ratings are up. Attendance looks good. Most games I watch anyway appear to be sold out. Unless, of course, We're talking about the New Orleans Pelicans. There are more dead bodies buried in the cemetery under the Smoothie King Center than people inside the arena who are still capable of breathing. For the first time in years, the NBA seems to be on the rebound. But once again, the biggest stories in the league are negative. You have starting players accused of fixing the outcome of games. Have a head coach who was a championship winning player. You got Chauncey Billups allegedly colluding with the mafia to swindle poker players out of millions of dollars. God only knows what else is going to be discovered in this gambling investigation in the NBA. Half the players in the NBA believe gambling's having a negative impact on the league. Yet every time I watch a game, I am bombarded with gambling. Luka Doncic with an incredible pass. By the way, fans, the Lakers open tonight's game as 10.5-point favorites. That line has now dropped to -7. Wowzer! That's what we call in the gambling business value. Lock your bets in now at giveusyourmoney.com. In the year of our Lord 2025, the NBA is still blacking out games that you've already paid for. Sometimes it is a hassle to find NBA games. Friday night, I turned on NBA League Pass to watch the Mavs, wasn't on. Turned to ESPN, wasn't on. Turned to NBC, wasn't on. I had to Google the game just to find out where to watch it. Most casual NBA fans, they're not going to do that. They're going to turn where they think the game should be broadcast. Once they don't find it, they notice Night Nurses from Jersey on their guide, and they watch that instead. And now we've got multiple incidents, again, of NBA players kicking fans out of the arena, which just furthers the perception that modern NBA players are soft. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.